On time. Can you guys hear me? Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy 2019. First show of the season. This is from A to B, presented to you by Osmo.com. I'm Andrew. That's Ben. Golf's back, buddy. Let's do this.
Yeah, kicking off 2019 with the old Sentry. So it's a warm up. I hope we have a lot of new people. I've seen in Slack a lot of people saying they're excited to get into golf. I'm super excited to have new people. I will say, this is just a warm up. This is like preseason NFL. This is like, the calm before the real storm. So don't waste the entire bankroll this week. That's step one.
Yeah, the last golf show we did was we talked about the Hero World Challenge a little bit. This is basically the same thing.
The glorified Hero World Challenge.
I mean, there's twice as many people as there were there, but and there's a couple fake golfers. Like, we're back into that part of the year where you can write off the bottom couple of dudes. That generally won't. That will generally be the case. It's a little weirder here, but other than the randos like Michael Kim and Ted Potter won tournaments last year somehow, but it's mostly real players. So
I was confused about that because I was all ready to fade Tony Finau. Don't really have the opportunity though, unfortunately. Yeah, couldn't even get into the old strong field with Satoshi Kodiara and the gang.
Yeah. Bitcoin took a real dive this year, but still came out on top once.
I see what you did there.
Jordan Spieth isn't here. That warms my cold dead heart a little bit, gonna be honest.
Yeah, there's some guys that are not, obviously we got right off the top, Justin Rose, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson not playing. They could be here. Then there's some other dudes, no Decky, no Fleetwood, Finau. There's a very handful of like top end golfers that are not here for obvious reasons.
Yeah, is Fleetwood not winning sort of surprising to you? That one took me a bit by storm. I feel like he would come in fourth like every single week.
So that's what I was gonna say. Fleetwood's one of those guys. The pendulum, it swung from like Tommy Fleetwood, like he's gonna be, a guy I think who could be on the PGA Tour to like Tommy Fleetwood's like the best player in the world. So I don't know exactly how good he really is. I like him. He's definitely up there. It's hard to win. Like it's really, really tough.
Yes, sharp take. Fleetwood's a very high Rover player. Just means he has a lot of variance round around, and I often would get bit kind of trying to bank on the bad round being on Thursday or Friday and not playing him when he was going to be mega chalk. Never seemed to work, but he always would have a bad. He was terrible on Saturdays or something. He'd always have the one bad round.
He's a tough guy to peg. He is. Obviously, we'll have plenty of time to break him down throughout the year, no doubt about it. Happy New Year's to everyone. Good job, Badger. That was first comment of the golf. I like it. Take down college football.
Yeah, good stuff, buddy.
And obviously drop questions in. We got a couple. We'll certainly get to them as we get into this. Do you want me to just run off Kapalua a little? How do you want to break this thing down?
Yeah, so third member of the team, Tim Frank, Fantasy Golf Man, not here today. Got some travel, something going on. It's a weird day. Like normally this show will be on Tuesdays. It was not yesterday because of New Year's and also, it's a weird tournament. And then our Wednesday night show, we will have a new third member of the team for that.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, should be cool to check that out. So we will get into that, but starting next week, this is just going to be both shows in one right now, where we talk about these guys. So Tim, why don't you talk to us about the course?
Ooh, nice. I got real pressure. So this is a resort course. It's coastal. We're going to get into the wind, obviously. But first things first, it's a par 73. So there's one less par 3 than par 5. That's really atypical. Scores are going to be low. They're always low here. It's A, the best players in the world, and B, again, it's just a very gettable course. There's some short attackable par 4s. Dustin Johnson almost made a hole-in-one on one of the par 4s last year. So that was good.
Yeah, there's like 8 holes that you could reasonably eagle. That is not going to happen very often.
It's very generous fairways, so like driver is an asset here. And to me, it's pretty simple to look at. It turns into a wedge fest because we've seen guys like Jeff Ogilvy, Stricker, those types who are obviously not bombers. They've won here. They like it because they're great wedge players. And then there's guys, obviously, Dustin Johnson, people like that can also take the course apart. It's going to come down to those super slow Bermuda greens. We'll get into that. I think Jason Day in particular could have something to say about that, but it doesn't strike me as an overly complicated course.
Yeah, I mean, luckily Day can't get cut here, so that's step one for him. I don't know. Yeah, I think it is very much you can hit driver on basically every hole. It's not like you don't have to necessarily because, yeah, like you were saying, there's going to be short second shots for most people. They could be really short for some of these master bomber players. Like Cameron Champ's going to drive past the hole on some par fours probably.
Yeah, we're going to see. I mean, he's one of the people I definitely want to get into. Obviously, we have the luxury. It's only 34 guys. We're going to touch upon most people. Hopefully, we don't mention Keegan. That would be nice. But other than that, we'll get into it.
Hey, speaking of Cameron Champ, did you hear? This is a bit of a tangent, but not too bad a one. Did you hear about this podcast that Steph Curry went on, where he claimed to not believe that we landed on the moon? You're familiar with
Richard Jefferson? Yeah.
No, it's not Richard Jefferson's one. The Ringer started their own version of that, and it's so the famous one is Road Tripping with Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye and the Cavs sideline reporter. This one is the Ringer made their own version of it with a Hawks reporter as well as Kent Bazemore and Vince Carter. Anyway, they had Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala on it, and it literally turned into the last 40 minutes of it was just that four super rich people talking about golf. It was really funny.
Iguodala loves golf. You see him all the time at tournaments. Obviously, Steph is an incredible golfer.
Yeah, for not handicap supposedly.
Yeah, he played in a Webb event and he got torched, and that's impressive. Just being able to go out there and do that is pretty cool.
Also, they were talking about there is this athlete, celebrity tournament kind of thing. And remember how random it seemed that Tony Romo and Mark Mulder played in tournaments last year? Those guys apparently win that tournament of all the other athletes every year. So
Tony Romo, kind of a different animal almost. He's pretty damn good.
Yeah, still. And Mulder supposedly is too.
Yeah, I didn't know that until we saw his name randomly appear. That's interesting though. Yeah, I know they both like golf. Before we get into it, this is an interesting question. Friend of the show, wondering the difference between FanDuel and DK Golf. So New York was banned with FanDuel Golf. They have come back. It's not too different unless I'm missing something. It's not like fantasy draft where you're dropping a guy, right?
Right. FanDuel used to have a bit of a different format where you'd get 8 dudes or
that was the worst format ever.
That was really
rounds 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4.
It was silly. No, they are. Yeah, they're very similar. It's the basic idea is you want to try to get everyone through the cut. Hope you have some outs for the weekend. That's pretty much all there is to it. There are some minor differences, but
bounce back is a thing there.
You
want to just look at the scoring. Stuff. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to get?
Want to talk about the golfers, Dustin Johnson?
Sure. I will say, a lot of people certainly have already alluded to this. We were talking about it before the show. So this is a coastal course, and it is supposed to be really windy. And I was saying, I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, I don't think it's that big a deal. A, this course is so easy, and it's normally windy. B, a lot of times when we talk about wind, it's because we want to do a tee time stack. There's only 34 golfers, and it's a non-cut. So other than looking at maybe some wind splits as a tiebreaker, I'm not going to be factoring it in because there's not much to do with it.
Yep. No, yeah, exactly. They're all, there's no tee times 2 stacks, so
exactly.
Don't worry about it.
I think if it plays hard, that would be wild. I cannot imagine this course playing hard. I just can't.
I can't either. And it's always relatively windy. It is right on the water, so I mean it's not going to be anything particularly new in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just go for the guys. It's going to be a little frustrating, I think. I don't know how live the all under 70 bonus will be just because it's par 73, so it's going to be pretty difficult to go way under every round. But it will. I mean, it'll be out there. You're gonna need the scoring types for sure.
Oh, streaks are going to be happening. Yeah, the under 70 will be somewhat. It's not like you need 6 of those. You're not going to find many guys.
Right.
Uh,
Which is
but
helpful
yeah,
because that's the stupidest bonus in DFS.
yeah, that is the most arbitrary. Even though 3 straight birdies is somewhat under 70, it's just like ridiculous.
Yes.
And I think we both would agree. For some reason, no matter what, it always creeps up on me. It's like, oh, I got it factored out what I need, and then boom. It's like, well, he had an extra guy who was under 70, and I'm now dead.
Well, because it's huge. It's 5 points. It's like,
no, it's gigantic. All right. Well, let's get right into it. We got your boy, DJ.
Okay. Yep.
Then we got JT. Then Brooks. Those are the 3 over $10,000 on DraftKings. The sheriff in the chat is saying, do you start with JT and figure out the next 5? I think a lot of people were thinking about that with DJ in particular. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
I think I like JT more just from a tournament perspective. It's, DJ clearly rates out the best, but I would imagine he's the most popular guy. I haven't really seen a lot of ownership projections yet, but it would be pretty surprising for him not to be. He's the best player. He's only $11,000. You can certainly.
And he loves this place. Like he's also, not that Justin Thomas isn't to some extent, but Dustin Johnson is. When you give him 4 rounds, and you talk about this, why no cut can have some benefit. Even when he plays horrible, it's he's comes in 7th in something like this.
Yep.
That's why
I would be shocked if he's not like 6th at the end of the weekend. But that might not be good enough. Is the thing.
Oh, absolutely. Depending on who wins. In a cash setting, I think you do start with DJ. I'm not playing cash for this for obvious reasons.
Same.
I'm with you. I like JT. Brooks is going to be. There's not going to be many lost people in a 34-man, but I think he's going to be the sneakiest of the top 3. I also have plenty of teams that have none of them and really start in that balanced range.
Yeah, I was really enjoying the idea of like some Rom and Bryson kind of starts because those guys, they really can do a lot of damage at a place like this. I think they can hang around and stick with those guys, and it's their kind of course. It's like they're very solid. Their best asset is their driver, both of them. Same with DJ, same with JT, same with Brooks. But I don't know. I kind of like pivoting a little more. This is another one where we talked about this at the Hero, where it's almost like I'd almost rather just know that the lineup is unique than know who the golfers are.
It still has it. So at the Hero, I was being serious. I said that like if I knew my lineups were unique, you could pick them for me. Here, there's a little more because there's 34 guys, but I'm still on your wavelength. Friend of the show and just obviously sharp guy. I saw a tweet from Colin Drew B, and he was saying that if you go to the full salary, there's honestly not that many. There's thousands, but there's only I think it's like 7,000 combinations. So you're talking about a tournament that's massive. You are gonna venture to say you're going to have a very tough time being unique and filling out the whole salary. I will be leaving plenty of money on the table. Nothing extreme, not 10,000, but enough where I can say, you know what, this is a little different, and I'll take my chances.
Right, and I think that both of us are very against that in general. But at a tournament like this and at a tournament like Hero, again, yeah, it's a little different than Hero because Hero it was 17 really good players in Tiger. Here you've got
wasn't Finau there too? 16.
Finau's good though. Keegan was there. He's not good. Here it's like 30 real golfers and then
Tiger.
No, Tiger didn't make it. He did win a tournament though.
He's resting. I think it's important to focus on lineup construction. Obviously, goes without saying we don't, or at least I don't know where these guys have been. There's going to be rust. Some people are just here to be here. Some guys will take it more serious than others. It's early in the year. We just don't know. And that makes it very difficult.
Yeah, this is the only time of the year where there is an actual layoff. So we really don't know what's going on with these guys. Which to me makes it even more of a try anything kind of thing,
Definitely. It was so I did the Pat Mayo show this week, and we were talking, and he was saying, and it's a good point. When you look back, if you're using like historical stats, you want to be careful because some of these, even if you take, oh, I only want the last 24 rounds, you're in August, you're in July, like it's
Oh,
not
you're
that
in
pertinent.
April for some of these people. Yeah.
Exactly, like especially if you're a European player and you don't have that much. So we are flying somewhat blind. Some guys play in the swing season; those are very weak events. It's just tough, and that's something we have to deal with.
Right, and a lot of those swing season events don't have shot tracker, which like my projections do take into account events that don't have shot tracker. But there are a lot of places out there that don't. So like you actually won't have um, it actually won't show up as anything for some of these guys for those swing season events, which
Very true.
not great.
Oh, what's up, friend of the show, Sean Gere? What's going on, man? Good human. I was also on Virginia Tech money line. I saw that tweet from you, buddy. How do you? This is a good question, right from chat, and this is, I think, the theme of everything. How do you manage with only 30 golfers being in play, trying to be unique but not just being stupid? That's the balance for me in weeks like this.
Right, and that's what I think is different about this week is it's hard to be stupid if that makes sense. Uh,
In ways,
at the Waste Management or the Honda, like
you can be
you can be
stupid. Yeah.
really stupid. Like here,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not going to play a lot of Troy Merritt, but they're
So
of the 29, 30 real guys. Like I don't think any of them are stupid.
I'm with you, but I think you would agree with this as well. And this is where we go back to leaving money on the table. If I can get to DJ and I have Troy Merritt, that crosses the line for me. There's leaving money on the table, and then there's taking a ridiculous stance. Like do something else different. If you have Satoshi and you have the money for JT.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
that's fair. Sorry,
People
I
will do
thought that
that.
kind of went without saying, but yeah,
I don't think so. And in something like this, people will leave like 10,000. And I think that's just, can it work? Of course, but that's not, you can be unique without doing that.
yeah, leaving like 3,000 is more what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's on the top of my ceiling. Next range though, you said you like Rom, I like Rom too. We know what I'm gonna do with Rory. What are you gonna do with Rory?
I'm probably not going to play a whole lot of him, to be honest with you. I think he is a bit more of a stable guy at this point in his career. Like I don't love his chance to just like kill everyone. He's gonna have to come with the putter. You mentioned wedges, which like he was just awful with wedges all last year. It was really strange to see. There were so many times where it's like, wow, Rory, piped it 350 down the fairway, and now he's got a 75-yard second shot, and he hits it to 35 feet. Just like, what is wrong with you, dude? So I'm not sure this place really lines up like for what he's done lately, but I don't know.
With you. That part of it is concerning. The thing I like about this is I think there's a false narrative going around in the sense of guys who haven't seen this course, they struggle here. And I think that it should be stated the reason that's mostly true is because most guys who haven't seen this course have never won, and then they win the first time. And most guys who win for the first time aren't the best golfers in the world. Rom last year, go ahead.
Rory hasn't played. Has Rory not played this before?
No, never.
Oh, weird.
And obviously, that's because he's just never chosen to play this.
Right.
I think he's in a little different situation, similar to Rom last year, who came and then he was runner up in his first time. That's different than Troy Merritt and Satoshi seeing this for the first time. So he's going to be, relative to a 34-man field, really unpopular. And obviously, I'll be overweight. So
Okay. I mean, do you think we're gonna get 8% owned Rory McIlroy or something? Because in that case, like, sure, but
I don't know about 8%, but to me, he'll be the lowest owned guy. Um, I think maybe down to like past Bryson. I mean, I don't have ownership in front of me. This is just a rough guess. I think we see him in the low teens, maybe like 12, 13%. And in something like this, if I can get that, I will certainly be over the field.
yeah, I buy that. I mean, I have no problem with. I mean, you know how little respect I have for the idea of a win versus like a guy who came in second by missing one 7-foot putt. Like that's I don't put a lot of stock into that. Paul Casey could never win. Francesco Molinari could never win. Those guys are here. People think Tony Finau can't win.
Well,
He didn't.
Yeah, that's what exactly. You said that about. I mean, I joke about Tony Finau. It's true. You don't win until they rattle 2 out of 4 off, and then it's like they're never gonna lose again.
Yeah.
And then they miss cuts, and then it's like, well, they're washed.
Molinari was the most boring good golfer in the world forever, and then just destroyed the world. New putting coach, I think, something like that.
I see what you did there. I like it. What do you think about this? Is another guy who I think is going to be pretty unpopular. We're kind of working down. Jason Day to me is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like Jason Day is definitely one of my sort of pet projects. I play a lot of him.
Unforgiving fairways.
Yeah, wide fairways is definitely helpful for him because he's been a bad driver of the ball for a few years now, ever since the back troubles. He's just a bummer of a case study, really, because that 2015 year, it was like, man, this guy is the nuts, and then he had back trouble and hasn't quite been the same, but he's still got the best short game in the biz. Like, it's really good for DraftKings scoring.
Yeah, the short game, it's not, you don't want to be scrambling around here, but it is a lot of slope. It's a unique course. A lot of people say they see Augusta in it in that sense.
Well,
Jason
also
Day,
the fact that you can hit driver on pretty much every hole, that's very
too. That's very true. Jason Day, yeah, you talked about it. He can get crazy hot with the putter. I don't know, slow greens, all that stuff. You can look at the splits. I don't like to dig into that stuff too much. I think it's somewhat overblown, but he's the kind of guy he can get going.
Yeah, I think the general idea on slower greens, though, and just the basic, the overarching theme about slow greens is they do make bad putters a little less bad, because if you totally blow a putt, it's not going to go 10 feet past the hole when the greens are really slow. It's going to go 3 feet past the hole, which almost anyone can make a 3-foot putt most of the time.
Yeah, 3 putts certainly go down when you can give it a whirl. But then there's other guys who just hate that. Bubba comes to mind. He just, for some reason, he leaves it short perpetually on these really slow greens. So.
Bubba's such a weird character. Are you buying any of him this week? He's way cheaper than this, I think.
Yeah, I'm not into it. Hold on. I've got a ruckus outside my...
What's going on? You got garbage trucks out there or something?
Yeah, garbage trucks. Talk to me about Bubba while I tell these Nimrods to quiet down.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Bubba's just not that good anymore, I don't think. But I certainly... He flashes a lot of upside every so often. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Working down, though, in the 8K range, what are you thinking in terms of plays? Bryson?
Yeah, I like Bryson the best. Webb and Molly are guys that I will play a lot of during this season, but probably not here, because they aren't just nuke scorers. That's not really their thing. They are more Webb, Molly, Paul Casey is another one. Just guys that you play in cash a lot during the regular season, but I don't think this is really the place for them, because I'm not seeing them dust a field. Doesn't happen all that often, except for Molinari's July or whatever that was. I'm more willing to take a shot on even a guy like Xander, who I'm not a huge fan of. Patrick Reed, these guys are dudes that can really get out there. I am interested. I think I'm gonna be buying the Cam Champ hype a little bit this year. I just really think that there is he hits the ball 20 yards further than Rory. It's just not the same sport, he is playing a different game. And if he gets the other parts of his game together, I really think he has the ceiling to, that's number 1 player in the world kind of ceiling. He's hitting it that much further than everyone else. It's wild.
He's been putting ridiculous, though. Do you worry about that at all?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think his iron game is anything super special right now. I'm just saying, if he happens to get it together, some of those other parts, he just has such, it's like Rory when he was 24, just that massive advantage over everyone else. Driver is very important. It's the first shot. Yeah. Every other shot is dependent on what happened from the first one,
Fair enough. I like Woodland over Champ for what it's worth. I don't know. I think he's going to struggle with the wedges, and he's going to regress putting. I know that much, obviously.
Yeah, I'm with you. This week, I prefer Woodland. I'm saying in general, I like the idea of like I can see Cam Champ actually working, like throughout the course of the season. Just like Bryson, I feel like I was a little slow to get on Bryson, and maybe I just feel
Bryson
so that, but he was also really bad for like a year. Let's not forget that.
No, I mean Bryson to me is one of the harder questions of not just this week, just in general. How good is he? Like, where does he truly deserve to be priced if everything was equal? I have no idea. Some people you'd get a wide range of answers, I think.
Yeah, but I think he's really good. I think we've seen that. He kind of he showed it a lot last year. It was enough of a sample to me to not be a fluke. But
no, not a fluke. He's that much we know. But there are a lot of people that say like, if he doesn't win a major this year, it would be a disappointment. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can say that about anyone.
That's what I was. Yeah, I was going to say. There's those same people. They say that about 15 guys. Yeah. It's like, let's not.
Like, is Ricky a disappointment every year because he doesn't win majors or whatever? Like, come on.
He'll get one. Who's going to be the lowest owned golfer?
My point is just that he's a very good player. He's not here.
No, because he doesn't win.
Yep.
Don't hate on Ricky. So is this course better for good short game players? I think what it is that if you I'm looking at guys who can make a ton of birdies. Obviously, you're going to need that, and people who are good with short irons, because the advantage, even though bombing is an advantage, all it's going to do is get you really easy second shots. If you don't do anything, you were alluding to this with Rory. It doesn't matter if you can't give yourself advantageous putts off your great drives. And that's what I do worry about with Rory. The ownership still puts me on him. But, there's a couple different ways to slice this course up. We've seen that with the history of who's won.
Right. Everyone's going to be able to reach the green with the second shot. It's just a question of, is it from 75 yards or from 125? But those are shots that really, a really good shot from 75 or 125 will be within 10 feet. So
it's about guys getting to their range too. Like someone, I'll use Stricker or Ogle, like they can hit a mid iron better than any, it's when they get those clubs, short irons, wedges in their hands, they're as good as it gets. And then you have someone like DJ who's learned, because he has so many. We talk about that when it's like the Ryan Moore is a weird golfer because he's a short hitter, and then it's with the long irons and whatnot. DJ makes sense in that way. He's good with wedges now, and he hits it really far away, so he needs the wedges.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's the problem for Rory is he's like better with a 200-yard iron shot than relatively he's better at a 200-yard iron shot than he is at a 100-yard iron shot, and that's a bad way to go when you're hitting 350 when your biggest strength is your driver.
Mm-hmm. Working down, anything else you want to say in kind of the top half? I know we're jumping around. I was dealing with, I don't know what is going on. It sounds like they're Fargoing people out there with the wood chippers, but that's neither here nor there.
Nice reference.
It's leaf blowers. Do you want to talk about the 7K range, or do you have anything more to say in the 8s?
No, I think that's about it. I don't know. A lot of good players down here as well. I think does Leishman stand out as sort of the most mispriced?
One of them to me. Paul Casey. He's more of a safe guy, and I know that his cut equity is a great asset. That's irrelevant here.
It's very high here this week.
That's true. He's incredible. It just never misses the non-cut. Never withdraws. Unlike Daniel Berger. Kuchar, he's coming off the win. I could see you getting on. Are you going back to him? You were all over him in the swing season.
Yeah, that's because he was this cheap. I mean, he was very cheap in like real. In big fields where there were a lot of bad players. And people weren't really buying it. I don't like him as much for here. He's another sort of kind of cashy guy. I don't know, though. It's weird. Kuchar's a very strange case because he does really score when he's got it going because he's a very good putter. So
I get confused with him as well. Tough to gauge. I'll tell you personally, for me, Leishman stands out as he's going to be very popular. He should be. Don't think I'm going to make my stand going against him. I think I'll be more prone to fade someone like Champ or Bryson. as we were alluding to. What
Leishman and
about
Kuchar are very similar players too, so like I don't mind just the straight pivot for a lot of those.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, Leishman's one of those guys. He's good in the he's Australian. A lot of that stuff correlates with wind, and he's when he gets going. He's not immune though. Leash throws up some bad ones. We got to look at ownership. That is going to be important, especially in a field like this where talent is very very muddled and it's very blurry because of the layoff. So
yeah, I've always done horribly with Mark Leishman. We know this. He's the guy that like if I'm underweight on him, it's just he's one of those guys that seems to be amazing every time he's chalk. And when you get sometimes it'll be like, oh wow, there's Mark Leishman's going to be 3% on this week. Shit, yeah, I'm going to play some of that. He's just like a disaster.
What about Aaron Wise?
Another fun one. Great driver of the ball. Not the best with the other clubs, but when he's got the putter going, I mean the ugly truth about this event is it's going to just turn into a putting contest at some point. So,
oh yeah, I like someone like Aaron Wise though, in the sense that he's not a great putter, but he has stretches where he's ungodly with the putter.
Yeah.
So that is nice because you don't have to be a great putter. You need to be a great putter for 3 days, 2 days, and he has that potential. He had stretches, and then it went cold. After he won last year, he was. I mean, I was playing him week after week. He couldn't putt for anything. Then he recovered in the FedEx playoffs. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the difference in winning and losing this tournament is going to be who has just someone needs to go on a 12-hole stretch where they hit 5 10-foot putts, and then they're going to be fine. I know that's
yeah, Paul Casey's changing that equipment. We heard that twice today now. Humdro, whatever the hell it's called.
I know zero things about actual golf and equipment and all that.
I certainly don't either. Obviously, though, that's something to take note of. Just, again, can we quantify it? No. Is it something? Maybe. Guys do adjust. There are growing pains. Rose is one. He's not here, but he's doing some stuff. So we'll see. I'm not going to – I try to control what I can kind of control and let that stuff hopefully even out. Like sometimes people go to that and they get a benefit. Other times people will go off Paul Casey and it's the same, and then you're discounting him for no reason. So
yeah, Hanma.
Okay, good for them.
Didn't Rory have some problems with that, or I don't know? I mean, everyone's got their problems, but I feel like
we all got our problem.
Never mind. You and I shouldn't talk about this because we'll just embarrass ourselves.
Yeah, I'm
not a Gere guy.
Bubba with the ball change. That much I could tell you. Big mistake.
Yeah, that pink ball didn't go so hot.
Working down Snedeker. Again, I see it. I think it is what it is. People will look to him. He's like a known grind it out. I look to him more in really tough courses, to be honest.
Yeah.
Than something like this. He's a great putter. Maybe I think Day's a better putter, but other than that, he's one of the best putters in this field.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure.
Leishman, right? He's right.
Leishman's a very good putter. Yeah, there's some dudes, but
Rom when he's on is insane.
Rom to me is like Wise though with the putter in the sense that like when he gets hot, Rom's like unstoppable, but he's not a notoriously great putter.
No, he's obviously a real big hothead. Like
he's insane.
I mean, the Thunderdome U.S. Open John Rahm experience did not go well. Just like the end of that first day, like he didn't have a great first day at the U.S. Open, and then on his last hole, he missed like a 4-foot, 5-foot putt, like a very makeable one, and then out of frustration missed the tap in coming back. So he just lost himself 2 strokes out of nowhere and was just done. It's like, yep, that's over. I think I had Decky on that team too. So.
Yeah, Leash, question. When's the last time Leash has played well? I mean, yeah, he won CIMB, which is nothing.
Right.
He was good.
That's where I felt like I got the monkey off my back because I was very heavy on Leishman that week. And it was like, oh, wow, I finally got Leishman right. That doesn't happen to me often. So, it was fun.
Yeah, he's just a guy that he's been there. I think he's a quality player. It's certainly not consistent with the top players in the world, but he could be your 3rd or 4th man in something like this.
Right.
That's what a lot of people are going to do, no doubt.
I'd rather play Snedeker than Keegan for sure. Keegan.
What about Charles Howell?
Keegan, not a guy you want to go to war with at a putting contest. Charles Howell, probably not that guy either. So
Yeah,
Horschel though.
he's Billy Horschel's going to be really popular.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it seems like from what I've seen. I don't get it, to be honest. Let me say this: I get it. I'm not there. I'll take stands down here for sure.
I missed the whole Horschel hot streak last year. I just couldn't. There wasn't a week where I could do it. Like all of a sudden he was 9,500, like next to actual like top 5 players, and it was just like, man. And then he'd be, and he'd be owned too. It wasn't like the crazy one where it's like, oh wow, this guy's 10-5, so no one's gonna play him. It was like, oh wow, Billy Horschel is
the price is fair to me here. Like I have no problem with any of it. It's just I don't see a ton of difference between him and Kevin Na and even Charles. Like these guys are all interchangeable, and you're going to be getting, in my opinion, a significant discount in terms of ownership. I'll take some stabs.
Yeah.
Live with it.
What are you going to do about your boy Ian Poulter?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Is he your least favorite golfer?
My least favorite golfer? No. He's close. I'm trying to think of who my least favorite golfer would be.
Nah, I'm trying to think too. I feel like Poulter's a good.
It's probably DJ or Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Not fans. But yeah, Ian Poulter not up there. I think Scott Piercy is the guy that I'm looking to in the 6K range. He had a great swing season. I know he can't putt, but he is truly a world-class ball striker. So I'll take my chances. But I see why you'd want to go to Poulter. He's another one. He can putt. The strong field is not a problem for a guy like that. He's been around the block, not overpowered. Where some of the 6K range, I think this is where we see the drop-off for like some of these guys just don't belong, no offense.
Yeah. Poulter's going to be the high Rover guy too, or he is the high. I put up the projections earlier, so he's the 100.
So we have, obviously, it's a new golf season. And as you said earlier in the show, what we're going to be doing, we're going to have our 3-man on Tuesdays. We're going to talk about the course, talk about our players. Then Wednesday night, we're going to have another 3-man show where we get into lineup construction, some, other types of breakdowns, a little more in-depth. That's where I get into questions like this. But I think with new people watching, do you want to just go right into a little what Rover is? Because that's a custom stat that you developed. That's definitely a very useful thing that we offer.
Yeah, sure. So that is a stat that comes built into my projections. It's something that we have behind the paywall over here. Give us a shot if you are not a member. 7-day free trial. Use the promo code from A to B.
Oh.
And like the video, all that good stuff. But Rover it stands for weighted round variance. So it's a measure of the variance in each player from round to round, like how they do relative to the field and how much that varies. So it has nothing to do with skill. That is the most important thing. The projection is basically their skill. And then the Rover is the sort of like, the bigger the Rover, the wider the range of outcomes, basically. These are guys that go, up and down, round to round. Like, I bet the high Rover guy. I actually hit an Ian Poulter first-round leader bet last year because he is not someone you would think of as being high Rover, but he's...
I certainly won.
Yeah, because he's a, lily-livered Euro.
That bomb. Best match play guy, though.
Yeah.
Super asset in the Ryder Cup. Appreciate that, Brent. Yeah.
A lot of up and down in his game, so... a lot of scoring potential, a lot of high upside there. But yeah, that's really how I make my first round leader bets: is find the 100 Rover guys, find the guys with Rovers in the 80s and 90s that are 100 to 1, and they'll hit more often than you'd think. But
Kevin Na, we just chat pointed out. Appreciate that. Another equipment change. It is what it is. It's good to know though. You want to have the information at least so you can make the most informed decisions. So consistency is Rover.
Yeah, it's a measure of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And volatility, obviously the same.
Right.
Concepts.
2 sides of the same coin. So like Kevin Tway is going to be the zero Rover in this field. He is just a very, very steady guy. Also, one you wouldn't necessarily think of that like him like that. But Molinari, Grillo, Keegan Bradley, Paul Casey.
Stenson.
Yeah, Stenson, exactly. Very low variance guys. And it tends to be honestly, the guys that are lower variance are usually the best iron players because that's the most repeatable skill. Driver is, but the closer to the hole the shot is, the like more variance there is in the shot itself. So guys that are very good ball strikers tend to be pretty steady week to week. So someone like Henrik Stenson, perfect example.
Do you like Kevin Tway at all? I've seen his name thrown around. I believe where is he? Yeah, 6,500. Long, obviously very long off the tee. I worry about the competition, though. This is not a great field, obviously, for him to attack.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get there with him personally. And I'm looking at our friend Drewby's ownership projections, and Tway is definitely going to be popular for someone down here. I don't know if I can get there.
Yeah, it probably is Finau. I'm not trying to sound like a hater.
Oh, your least favorite? No, you like Tony Finau. You just think he's overrated. I get it.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. Would you add more individual randomness on Fantasy Crunch for guys with higher Rover? Good question.
That is a good question. Yeah, I think you could do that. It does make sense. Yes, that the logic there is sound. Because more randomness is going to lead to a different possible projection that comes out. So yeah, it's like, it's looking at the sort of range of outcomes. And that's a very tough thing with golf, is like the projections are going to be a median projection, which is kind of a tough sell, right? I don't know. Dustin Johnson's not going to score exactly 103 points this week. He's going to score
until he does
between 80 and 140. So.
But I think you would agree with this. On a non-cut, it's closer to that than with a cut. Because with a cut, if you get cut, it's over, and it's wildly drastic.
Yes. And that's why in non-cut events, everyone's projections look higher, too, because there's not that... if this was a cut event, you could take Dustin Johnson's, projection and take 20% off of that, because that's the probability that he misses the cut. So you got to factor that in. This is, in theory, listen, this is a discussion we'll have someday later, but I kind of like non-cut events sometimes for cash, because there is less variance. If you get 4 rounds for a guy to like smooth out everything, like his projection is in theory better. I also get it that like people just do bonehead stuff and play guys that are gonna miss cuts a lot in cash, so there's an advantage there. But everyone misses cuts. They all do.
Can confirm.
Yep.
So do you? I think we should group all the people we really haven't mentioned in one, because I don't have. I think unless the only reason I'll play someone who's like really down there is if I say to myself, okay, I want to create a scenario up top that this is the only way I can get them in. So like for some reason, if you think like it's going to go DJ, JT, Rom, 1, 2, 3, and you need all of them, that's the only reason I would play Satoshi.
Yeah, then it's Ted Potter Jr. season.
Like, just because he could be part of an optimal by default. I seriously doubt that happens, though. It's a hard sell for me.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It would have to be like the 3 most expensive guys come 1, 2, 3. It's no Brian Harmon here this year to bail.
Thank God. No, there's Scott Piercy though, and Chad is already on top of it that it's not going to go well with this guy, and he's been playing well. Not even at soft courses too. He played great in Korea as well. So like he's been doing it. Various things, good iron player, good in the wind. But it's Scott Piercy. I understand what's about to happen to us all.
Yeah, he's more of a CJ Cup specialist anyway. I'm not there on Scott Piercy. I wish Tim was here so we could talk about it. I mean, I'll have some, but will I be over the field on a 20% on Scott Piercy? No.
What are you going to do in the 6s then? Like Poulter?
Yeah, I like Poulter. Listen, I don't know. It's sick, dude. Like, I haven't built a ton. I will have some exposure to these, like, mega trash players. But I'm going to play 150 lineups. I like playing I like spraying in that $5 thing. So, will I have 2 Kadira lineups? Yeah. Does it feel good? Is it an optimal thing? Would I ever do it in anything high stakes or in cash or single entry? No.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk, I'm more talking towards like not single entry, but a smaller portfolio.
Right.
When
20
you're
lineups, no, I would not have a single Ted Potter, Kadira, Landry, Kim, Kazire, Merritt, probably Garnett.
Dustin Johnson. Oh, wait a minute.
I would have
Um,
a fair amount of Dustin
so
Johnson.
just I don't want to quote you, but if you're playing a buck 50, you think you'll have every golfer in terms of some percentage?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to do that this week.
Yep.
Uh,
It's a very, I don't know. I struggle with this, and I think a lot of people have different opinions on this, but I am of the mindset that like I have no idea what's going to happen. It's a game. We don't know. We can't predict the future, so I am going to put myself in a position to succeed when inevitably things go awry, and that's
I
it.
like that. We think differently on that in the sense of you're more of like you just want to put feelers everywhere. So like even if it goes wacky, you still have one bullet because it's so top heavy. It only takes one. I'm more of like I'm a little more aggressive, I think, especially up top. So like when I get it right, I have like six permutations that are all live.
Yep.
There are many times though I'm just completely dead immediately, and like I don't even have. You talk about this last year with you. You had a huge week, and it was actually a team that you were shorting the players, but
Yeah.
that was still a team that you made because you didn't just put all your eggs in one type of narrative basket.
Yeah. I won the dog leg at the Colonial with like Grillo, and I think I was
Same.
over on Rose, but like yeah, I was under on Grillo.
Kevin Na,
Yeah. Nah.
same.
I was over on Sank, but he was like the one percenters. But
Yeah. He was also the hot. I was at a wedding and I was what he was making putts from all different surfaces.
that
He was
was
getting out of
like off the
control.
green.
Yeah, just he's in the water. Oh, he putted it in.
Actually,
Like
wasn't that the Travelers? I feel like Sync was just kind of okay at the Colonial. I had the four. I had like the first four, and they really blew it out of the water. I think it was the Travelers that Sync was really good at because that was also a week where I won some tournaments
okay,
with like the Bubba JB one too. Like those guys finally
sounds
paid
like a
back.
bad time for me. Can confirm didn't go well. But yeah, that's just a kind of different philosophy. It is important, and we're going to expand. This is why we're going to be doing two shows. You want to know the tournaments you're playing. Some of them are going to be a lot more top heavy. When cuts get into play, it's a lot different than something like this. Words of wisdom, and this is one thing, even with cuts, you're going to need to know. But if you're just starting out with golf, I hope you're doing well on Friday. I hope you're doing well on Saturday. It almost means, I don't want to say it means nothing, but it borderline means nothing. Like it's with a non-cut, you're the winning lineup from in these big tournaments on after Saturday. It could finish anywhere.
I mean, the best advice is to take a screenshot on Thursday.
That is true. Only if you have Twitter, though.
Right. Right.
You like if you don't have Twitter, what's the point?
True.
Yeah. Um, just just blast
Yeah.
that out there.
I mean, listen, I feel like what we were just talking about there. I'm not like trying to cover every base necessarily, and I play different. I do also generally play like the three maxes and all of that, and I have a different strategy for that. Am I trying to get Ted Potter Jr. exposure in that situation? No, not at all. And at a 150 person field, it's not like I'm playing a little of every guy. But
That's no.
here, I think it's totally fine. Also because it's non-cut. Like,
We also both adhere to, and I can tell you this is the best advice, and I get it all the time, is like, what is your strategy? The strategy is to not have a strategy.
yes,
Like, I had 100% of a player in certain weeks last year. It was rare, but there were certain weeks where I did it. Then other times I had a very wide portfolio. I used a ton of golfers. I try to adjust to each week, saying like I'm going to play 40 golfers every week with this many teams. You're just not setting yourself up for success long term.
totally. Yeah, don't fall in love with a brand. Don't try to make a brand. It's not a
The
plus.
brand is just
Not a plus
screenshots.
move. Yeah,
That's the brand, just straight screenshots.
all the screenshots.
Um, any
Ben,
other?
every golfer I have is -2. Why am I not crushing?
Another good lesson for early season golf. It's gonna be really low scoring. We're just gonna have to deal with it. I mean,
High scoring from a DraftKings perspective, but
high scoring from a DraftKings perspective. This is true. We'll have to see what the wind does. I may actually sprinkle in Showdown. depending on what we see with the course, because we're not going to know. We got to check out the wind. But this is one, it's still, I'll just repeat it till death. It's 34 golfers and it's a non-cut. Have some fun with it. That's all you really can do.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Ooh, he likes, friend of the show, Harbs, likes Sneds. Sneds definitely, I mean, he's the kind of guy, he can win a field like this. There's no doubt about that. I'm not super into him, to be honest. I think he's a fine play. I'll have exposure. Kind of guy I want to cancel. Like I hope he doesn't define my week.
It's like you won the dog leg at this tournament last year, and that was with Harmon, who I don't think you were heavy on, right? That was just like a nice out that happened to have him.
Yeah, that was super lucky. I don't remember it honestly too in depth, but that happens. Obviously, when you're making enough teams, I don't make 150, but I still make enough where I have some teams where it's like, oh, I have this combination. That's great and very fortunate.
Yeah, of course.
So,
but it's more about, I guess the larger point here is like, it's really hard to like, I don't know. Picking the actual players is sometimes less of a skill than how you build your lineups.
And in a week like this, it's magnified.
Yes,
I think at least, because all in all, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that we truly can order Leishman, Kuchar, Weis, Sneds. Like, we don't know what they've been doing, how they're playing. It's
maybe you
tough.
can't, fella.
Yeah, exactly. So just call me a fish. Find those head-to-heads. Come on in. It's more about if you use 50K and you use Bryson, Reed, Rom, a couple other, like you and 85 of your friends are going to be have really bad equity. So you can take it. You can control that. You're not going to be able to control how these dudes play, but at least get the first part right.
Yeah, exactly. Try to give yourself as much of an out as you can. It's like, I mean, like in NFL Showdown, which I think we both grew to love throughout the course of this year.
You more than me, but yeah, I warmed to it.
Yeah, very difficult to come up with unique lineups, but you want to do something kind of different. Like, yeah, okay, you might chop with 12 people, but you don't want to chop with 150. In golf, you can get an actual individual lineup. Well, there's plenty of possible ways to do this if you're willing to be a little bit different.
And I think it's not because I'm doing something crazy, but most of my lineups will not be duped this week. Like if you're embracing that, you're not going to have, and if they are, it's going to be like, oh, a single person. You're not going to have 30 people duping a lineup that leaves $700.
Right.
Especially if it has a somewhat, low-owned guy on it.
Yeah. There is a lot of ways to pick 6 from 34. A lot of combinations there.
Yeah, it makes it like you could do it at the Hero. You certainly could do it here.
Yes.
We got Patty. I'm glad to see some of the fine people who join us for football stopping in with golf. I know not everyone loves golf, but it's a good time.
Yeah, it's tight. Exactly. I'm excited to see people around too. Golf is it's fun. It's very it's. I guess after this NFL season, I can't talk about what's tilting anymore. But like, golf is a fun sweat. It's a fun sweat.
It is a fun sweat. We'll have shot tracker.
Absolutely.
Couple housekeeping things. This is very random, but there's a ton of college basketball tonight. If you're looking to bet it, if you just want to read it, if you're playing DFS, I do have an article. It's posted for free. It's on Twitter. It's on the site, in our Slack. Check it out. Nebraska, my team's playing tonight. I'll be at the Ranger game. Can't watch the game, but you know how it is.
Oh yeah, you got the living that good life tonight, right?
That sweet life, you know how it is.
Hanging out in the suite. Do they still do suites?
I mean, as far as I know, yeah, they definitely have one at Madison Square Garden. I've been there.
Yeah.
So
I went to one of the World Series games on DraftKings, but
awesome.
That was not a suite situation. But I think maybe that's more because it was a World Series game. It was all the same. It was all the we found out that all the DK people were in the same row. Our buddy Max was up there. It's just like, oh wait, are you a DraftKings person too? It was pretty funny. Cool.
Couple good questions before we get out real quick. Stopping to say get it. Yes, we're gonna get it. Thoughts on Webb Simpson? Somehow we didn't mention him. I wanted to not mention Keegan. Webb is actually good enough where we should have mentioned him.
I talked about Webb a little bit. You just weren't
I
listening.
think it was probably Dern. Yeah, you know why I wasn't listening? Because again, I had a Fargo situation. They were leaf blowing apparently like the window right next to me.
Hmm.
He's a good putter. He truly is. It wasn't a flash in the pan. I don't mind going to him.
Yeah,
In this,
Webb's good. He's another sort of low variance player. I like him less here than I do at some other events, but yeah, will I have a little bit? Certainly. K Sizzle with the nut point here that I like golf when my 6 guys make the cut. It's
this
true.
is a week for you then.
Yeah,
Stop on in.
yeah. This is the one. Enjoy. They will all
Uh,
be there.
I don't look at apex height. I see that thrown around a lot. And I think it's important to know what you know. I don't understand anything about it. I don't know how many shots are measured with it, if it's only drives, if it's what. I think the guys, especially at this tournament, are good enough they know how to play in the wind. So I don't worry about like a guy like Bryson or something like that. He can adjust if that's actually a situation.
Yeah. In theory, yeah, the guys that have higher ball flights, it is. Though you would think the wind would be more of a problem for, but I mean,
Brandon Grace style.
everyone's hitting it over the trees though. Like they're gonna get into the wind at some point. I don't know. I don't look at that personally either.
I just think these guys are the best in the world. That all in all, they know what they're doing. And again, I can't. If I look at it, it leads me to conclusions, and I don't even know what I'm doing. It's like I start. I don't know how much to weigh that. Like
Right.
it's very difficult.
Yeah, I try to
Uh,
keep. I mean, I think both of us try to keep it a little bit simple with that. Just do it's very easy to overfit a model or just have like just too much information. So
exactly. There's so much golf statistic stuff out there, and all sorts of splits. I look at that because I think you do, but I keep it very simple, especially early in the year. A lot of this is just I know these players and I'm gonna let it fly because we don't know what the hell's going on. Guys are working stuff out as they prepare for the actual year ahead.
yeah, and I mean, so much of it is just like how much golfer can I get for my dollar
Hmm.
versus how popular is that golfer going to be.
Yeah,
That's the big
golf.
thing.
Good point. Golf on Yahoo. I have not checked the tournaments, but if they're doing massive overlay things, you probably want to check that out. We have promos running. Use promo code, I believe, Osmo. You get some money if you sign up and
Yeah, I think
deposit.
there's a $30 deposit bonus using promo code Osmo, but
Boom.
check it
And
out.
then the most important question we've had: any thoughts on Evansville plus 2.5? What do you think, man? The old purple aces tonight.
Yeah.
I think they're. I obviously I don't have it in front of me. I
What
think
sport is this?
yes. I think they're playing Drake. I want to say I looked at the games. That was not one I looked at.
I like his
Uh,
first couple albums. Haven't really
hmm.
kept up as much, but
Yeah, they should win because it's 5-on-1. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
"Nice for What's" a
Um,
good song. That he keeps the hits pumping.
Let me look before I sound like an idiot and they're just like, watch, they're not playing them. No, they are. So they're at home. I don't know much about Evansville, to be honest. I've seen Drake play. Not too impressive. Their record's not bad though. So I like Nebraska tonight. That's in the article. That's what we got on that. Golf locks for a long time. It's 24 hours from now. So you have time tomorrow. So find us in Slack if you have questions. I'm not building tonight. I don't have to, which is nice.
Yeah, same. It's pretty cool. It's helpful. The West Coast swing starts a little later, which is helpful when you live on the West Coast, as I do. It's really kind of a drag when golf locks at 4 o'clock in the morning for most of the year. But yeah, I think that'll just about do it, man. Good talking golf with you again. We will be doing a whole lot of this, my guy. We got golf every week until Thanksgiving, basically.
It's true. Oh, and as much as I was saying my college basketball article, we do have my article is up and it's free this week. So stop on the site, go on Twitter. You can read that. It says a lot of what I was spewing here, just in different words. So you can see everything that I said twice
Yeah,
in written form.
yeah, check it out. Bit of a different format for us this week. No show
Mhm.
tomorrow, but Friday, I think instead of our regular, we typically do the NFL main slate breakdown. This week, it's wild card weekend. So I think we're actually going to release 4 different, like 15, 20-minute showdown videos. I did run those by some of the bosses. They were into it, so.
I didn't know any of this. I like it. Are we not talking 4-game slate? We may do that.
Yeah, maybe we can do that too. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but we are definitely going to have some short showdown videos. Stay tuned. Yeah, we'll be around this week if you really need to support.
And I'm planning. I have not. I know a lot's been happening with Christmas and New Year's. You can still, I dare I say, find me Sunday morning. I think me and Lofty are going to be breaking down the 4-game slate as well. So you're going to see us.
But there'll only be 2 games at that point.
2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. This is what's happening in the world. Interesting. So you know what? Stay tuned. Watch the schedule. Watch for Twitter. We're going to be providing football content. Yes. I'm going to leave it at that and just stop talking.
Your boys here will certainly be providing NFL content for awesomemo.com. Check us out. Like the video. Subscribe. Appreciate all of you. Have a good time this week, and we'll talk to you all soon.